Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I have been learning Spanish for 11 years and now I'm doing something totally new. Learning Japanese. I want to share everything that I'm doing as a complete beginner learning Japanese, the apps that I'm using, the different books that I'm using, because there are so many resources out there for learning Japanese. So I'm here to cut all the noise and just show you what I'm doing as a complete beginner starting out my Japanese journey. So if that interests you, leave a like and subscribe and let's go. The very first thing and the most important, I believe, in a Japanese learning journey is to learn hiragana and katakana, which is the alphabet. There are so many resources that you can choose from, but I'm going to show you what actually worked for me. And I owe the biggest part of that to this app called Robokana. It has everything that you're going to need. It helps you practice writing, the stroke order, and it gives you everything right there in the app that you need. And honestly, I would be at the car shop getting my oil changed and practicing my hiragana, katakana, and dakuten. I think that's what it's called when it's all the combinations. And this is by far the best way that I found for me to learn, but it plays the sound, it gives you the stroke order, and it lets you practice. I also found recently that this app has kanji in it as well, and I am definitely going to have to learn more kanji on this app because I honestly didn't even know it was there, so that just adds an additional part of this app that I absolutely love. I also watched the Japanese Pod 101 videos on hiragana and katakana, and mnemonics is something you'll run across a lot in Japanese, and it is super helpful. So the mnemonics that they showed in these videos just really helped me remember the characters, and I would write down the mnemonic and just write the character over and over again. Another app that I really liked was this app called Kana, and you can test yourself with any combination that you want. If you want to just start with hiragana, just katakana, both, or just dakuten, you can do that. You can completely customize the quizzes that you give yourself. So this was really nice when I wanted to just get quizzed on a random number of hiragana and katakana. The last thing that I used to help me learn the alphabet was this website, and I just pressed check all hiragana, katakana, and dakuten, and then it will also just quiz me, and I will have to type out the answers to this, and I would usually set a timer for about 10 minutes and just practice this way. And I actually got this from the Moe website, and I will leave everything that I mentioned linked down below if you wanted to check anything out. Another thing that you're going to want to do right at the beginning is learn vocabulary, and I love to do this with Anki, and I found a 6,000 word deck that breaks it up by 1,000 words with mnemonics for every card, and I feel like this has been the most beginner-friendly, helpful deck that I could find. Another SRS system that is seriously underrated is this website called jpdb.io, and this is honestly incredible. You can basically take vocab from anywhere, from anime, from books, from your vocab list that ChatGPT gave you, and you can put it into this website and it becomes your vocab SRS system. You can start learning by a list of most common words, and it'll teach you also the kanji that is a part of each and every one of those words. And it is just an incredible resource. It is not talked about enough. You can also just go to this and it'll be like a dictionary of sorts. You can go and look up a sentence and it will give you the breakdown of the meaning of the sentence and each word that it uses. It is just so not talked about, and this has been an incredible resource. Okay, now let's talk about the actual structure of how you're going to learn Japanese. I highly recommend looking at this website, tofugu.com, and this basically lists out everything that you should do to learn Japanese in order, and all of the resources that it has provided for you are linked, and it is free. So if you are looking for a free way and a basically free guide on how to learn Japanese, this is the guide that you're looking for. Because you're watching this video, I know you're a complete beginner, and this is the course for complete beginners. You can find it on Audible. It's called Learn Japanese with Paul Noble for Beginners, and you want the complete course. And trust me when I tell you, this is going to introduce Japanese to you in a way that actually feels comprehensible for your brain. And he also has extensions after that. Highly recommend this audio course. You can do it anytime when you're in the car, on a walk. It's so worth it. Another incredible introduction to Japanese would be the Organic Japanese with Kiradali videos. She has an entire playlist on YouTube, all free, of course, that you may watch. And the way she explains Japanese is just incredible. She is incredible. Her videos are amazing. So if you are just like, let me know how the Japanese language works before I invest in any textbooks, these are your two best free options out there. Now let's talk about books. What books should you get, if any? Since there are just so many resources out there to learn Japanese, let's talk about each one and you can kind of go from there and pick which one would be best for you. This was actually the first Japanese course book I ever bought, and I really think that this would be a great first option because it introduces everything about Japanese to you extremely slowly. It teaches you the hiragana and katakana as well throughout the book, and as you learn a new character, it starts to put that character in Japanese throughout the rest of the book. So once you learn it, you will never see the romaji again, but it starts out with romaji. This is a really great first course book to start out with when you absolutely have no knowledge and you're just starting out without any prior knowledge. This book is the one for you. Now, we've all heard of these two, Mina no Nihongo and Genki, and I recommend out of those two, Genki to start because Mina no Nihongo is completely all in Japanese and can be very overwhelming for a complete beginner. So if you really want a course book in one of these two, I recommend Genki. This is a very famous book, and let me tell you, if you are not a big book person, this is not for you. These are an incredible book series that I found on Amazon. The first one is Your First 840 Words in Japanese, and they're based also on the N5 level JLPT. This is just awesome. They list out all of these words for you. They include flashcards that you can cut out in the back of the book, and they also have a link to a Quizlet that you could practice with as well. They, of course, also have a sentence version, and this is really great because they have a ton of sentences with a complete breakdown and why it's in that order. Just a really great resource for your first 100 sentences in Japanese because they can be extremely confusing, especially if you've never learned a language like this. A website that really helped me to understand sentences and why some words are used the way they're used in that order is this website. You can paste any Japanese sentence into the website and it will break down word for word, particle by particle, and what everything means. And you can kind of get a better idea of why things are written that way because of this website. It is amazing. More on grammar, I've actually never seen this book mentioned anywhere, but it is amazing. It's a whole book teaching you about Japanese grammar, but in a fun way. It's not boring. You don't get lost while reading it. It keeps you engaged as it breaks all the grammar down in Japanese and introduces you to each new grammar point. You can also practice your Japanese reading, and I think that's just an amazing bonus, and the way they present it to you is just brilliant. If you really want to learn kanji right at the beginning, this is an incredible resource as well because it has the stories to help you remember the kanji, as well as little pictograms or mnemonics to help you better remember them. I actually found it at my local bookstore while I was checking around in the Japanese book section. From there, just going onto YouTube and finding comprehensible Japanese videos to watch when you aren't textbook studying. This is my absolute favorite account on YouTube. She also has a website so you can track how many hours you've been watching her videos, and I think that's a really great feature. She's incredible, so if you're looking for comprehensible Japanese videos, this is the account I would check out. So if you're starting to learn Japanese or Spanish or any language, let me know in the comments. If you want to join me and subscribe on my Spanish and Japanese learning journey, please do that. Subscribe. I don't know which side it's at. So, with that, gracias por ver este video. Arigatou gozaimasu. Adios. Mata ne.